Perfect. Guys, we are looking at doing a revision, which is basically a revision of the entire GST. This would take about 1 hour to 1 hour 15 minutes to 1.5 hours, depending on how fast or how slow we go. While doing this, we're also going to mention all the sections on a page. So at the end, you have a screenshot or you have one page where you have all the sections of GST. Guys, GST sections are very, very simple to remember. When you see this revision happening, you will see what are the sections. So let's do this. Yes, let's start. Guys, taking it from the first chapter in the same order that we've done the portion, we'll revise it, and this video can be used to revise whenever you feel like revising GST. This is something that you could do to revise. Alright, so let's start with the first chapter of GST. Guys, GST will be of 40 marks. It will be the second part of your paper, and you will start with this part. And the pattern of the paper is very simple. The question number 5 is for how many marks? 8 marks. You already know the question also, where it's going to be asked, what is going to be asked. And then between question number 6, question number 7 and question number 8, we always like a choice in life. So they've given us a choice. 8th question will be slightly theoretical. 7th will be a mix of some theory but more practical, and 6th will be completely practical. You got to choose and make the best choice. The best way to make a choice is to know everything so you can make a better choice. Alright, let's start with the first chapter, guys. The first chapter is called Introduction. Guys, in introduction, we figured that GST was introduced on the 1st of July 2017. And guys, we had different acts of GST. One of them is called the IGST Act, CGST Act. We have multiple SGST Acts. Delhi, Puducherry and Jammu and Kashmir are union territories which have state acts. Plus, we have one union territory act which is called DD. That is for Chandigarh, Andaman Nicobar, Ladakh, Lakshadweep, Daman and Diu and Dadra Nagar Haveli. Of course, we have a compensation cess act as well, which is basically for sin goods and for luxury goods. It has been created as a piggy bank to help the states in case of any shortfall, and it is basically a 5 years, but it has been extended. Next, guys, are there many advantages of GST? Yes, Sachin's different cards got credited and verified. States are now very happy. There are no different taxes, there are no different events, there is no cascading. Credits are easy, verification is very easy. Guys, have they replaced or subsumed taxes? Yes. The state taxes subsumed are Valet, which includes VAT, entertainment, lottery, luxury and entry tax. And Sachin exercised where, guys? At CST station. So service tax, excise duty, central sales tax and surcharges were the center's taxes, now replaced by GST. Alright. Then guys, GST had a GST portal. Has it left a mark on you? Yes. So you can do matching, analysis, applications, registration and computation. Besides this portal, now we know there are 2 more portals, guys. One is the invoice registration portal and one is the e-way bill portal. Alright. Next, guys, is GST Gen. Yes, so it will never touch alcohol for human consumption. On industrial consumption, it will be there. Guys, on 5 products, right now there is no GST. Example, petrol, diesel, aviation turbine fuel, crude oil and natural gas. And guys, on tobacco, hemp, opium, etc., will there be GST? Yes. Will there be other taxes also? Yes. Alright. Next, guys, is India subject to dual GST? What is dual GST? Both center and states have the power to simultaneously levy GST, especially intrastate. That comes to the point with what is intrastate, guys? Where the supply is happening within the same state, intrastate, C and S GST applicable, and interstate, I GST applicable. GST is consumption based tax, is that right? Everyone in the middle gets credits, is that also right? And credits are seamless in GST. Also, next, guys, we had to bring an amendment to the act. Yes, the amendment was the 101st amendment of which year? 2016. And this amendment we had to introduce because for any tax to be levied, we need the permission of whom, guys? The Constitution. We introduced some new articles here, 246A, 269A and 279A. Let's talk a little about that. 246A was because Article 246 had 3 lists, union, state and concurrent list. But guys, there in that, the GST was not there in the concurrent. No tax was there in the concurrent list. So Article 246A brought tax in the concurrent list. Article 269A said that, listen, because of interstate IGST, apportionment happens and this formula will be given in 269A. And the main, guys, is 279A. We spoke about the GST Council. Guys, GST Council has a head and brain. They decide everything, but they don't decide. They recommend. And that recommendation has to be notified by whom? The government. This GST Council is headed by the state, the center's finance minister, Nirmala Sitharaman right now is heading it. They have representatives from both the center as well as the states. For any voting to happen there, they need how much percent voting? 75% voting in favor of the decision. But guys, center has only 1/3. States have only. So do they have to shake hands, guys? They have to agree. And for a quorum, guys, you need 50%. But what are the decisions that can be taken by the GST Council? All the chapters names. What is your registration threshold? What is exemption? All of that. What is your time of supply? What is value of supply? All of that. Who decides, guys? GST Council. So this more or less is your first chapter or introduction, guys. Done and dusted here. Yes, if there's something that you've written and we've not discussed, do let me know so we can discuss that as well. Alright, GST. GSPs, GST Suvidha providers, and ASPs, application service providers. Also, guys, there is coding mechanism. HSN code is for goods and SAC is for guys. Now that we know other chapters also, guys, do you remember HSN 6 digits? For people whose turnover last year is more than 5, in the invoice also, in the returns also, compulsory for all. And if it's up to 5, then 4 digits, optional for B2C. Nice. Can we move to the second chapter, guys? Anything else that I missed out here? Was that? Difference between DT and ITT, nice, something that you should know, progressive and regressive, but we've come a far way along, and that difference is only for knowledge purposes, but good. And which is a wider tax base? Who pays more taxes in India, guys? GST. You guys are paying more. All of you all are paying GST, guys, but not all of you all are paying DT. So GST is a wider tax base. All right. Next is one of my favorite chapters, because now as compared to the other chapters is this cute little small chapter, guys. So let's revise this value of supply chapter. Very, very interesting. So value of supply. Why do we need value in the first place? Because GST is always a percentage, and hence we need value of supply. Ad valorem, absolutely right. And we take section 15(1) says we take the transaction. Now what is a transaction value? Is it the price printed on that packet? No. Is the price agreed? If you've asked for a bargain, if you finally negotiated a better price, that price is the transaction value. But this can be taken only when buyer and seller are not related and price is the sole component. Even if one of them is there, you cannot go to transaction value. Then how will you determine the value? We'll do it as per some valuation rules only at CA final. So somewhere away from that. Now, what are related people? A family can cope 25%. What is this, guys? Agent, family members, self, spouse, children, always. Parents, grandparents, siblings, only if they are dependent on you. Control, officers, directors of the same company, partners of the same partnership firm, employer, employee, and anyone, any entity hold 25% shareholding. Guys, good. Also, all your responses are also being recorded. So the better and the louder it is, the better it will be. Next, guys, this transaction value, can you manipulate it and keep it low? Yes. And can you take other payments, guys? The government will not let it happen, because under section 15(2) they said tax these items in supply. Perfect. So these 5 things they want us to add. First, which taxes, guys? Every tax except TCS and GST. Will you add that? Yes. That is 15(2)(a). This is B. This is C, D, and you will never have to by heart it because of that list. Next. Any payment linked to the supply, guys. All payments have to be linked to the supply. Who is supposed to pay it? Supplier. Who paid it? Will we add that third party payment? Yes. Next. Guys, incidental charges only if it's charged. If you don't charge, if you don't benefit, the government doesn't want to add. So add that as well. Next. Interest. Guys, do you remember once you are registered under GST, will everything that you supply, will it be subject to GST? So even interest? Yes. But the point is, if in the exam they say you paid only 5,000 GST interest along with GST, guys, it's like the ruffle, it's like the lace packet. Is it inclusive of GST? Can you remove it? How will you remove it? 5,000 divide by 118 into 100, and that is what you will add here, whatever the value will be. And last is subsidy. Guys, that's the most tricky thing, because of course not non-government subsidy, but what are the languages? This amount is after subsidy. Have they minused it? Will you add? This amount is including subsidy. Have they minused it? Will you add? Yes. Every time they've considered subsidy, what have they done? Minus it. So what will you do? Add. Guys, I'm telling you, and still 60% of the population will get this wrong, I promise you. Yes, this is only a language play. This is not something that is different in tax. It's only a language play. The moment you understand that it is considered, included, minused, so all of that, guys, after all of that means they've already minused it. What do you need to do? Add it. Next, guys, this is a big fat number. From this number, guys, can we minus something? Section 15(3) says, the government says, I am also very considerate, I'll let you minus also. So what are the things you can minus? One, invoice discount. Invoice discount means the discount that is given at the time of supply. That is at the time of supply, whatever, and this is our favorite discount, guys. We love discounts, and this is our favorite discount. But there's another discount which is called post-supply discount. Post-supply means it is agreed at the time of supply but given later on. It has to be in the nature of what, guys? Tick. What is tick? The terms have to be told to you in advance. Advance means at the time of supply. The discount has to be given invoice wise, which is generally assumed in the exam, and excess credit, if any, has to be reversed, because now the value is going down, the credit will also have to go down. Are we okay with this, guys? This is a chapter called value of supply. Now moving to a new page, new pastures. But while we are doing this, guys, can we also after every chapter do a section wise? So can we put sections on a page? Yes, you have to say yes because there's no option, guys. Yeah, so we will put on a new page here. Guys, in the first chapter, guys, what was the sections? Article 246A plus Article 249A plus Article 269A. That was the first section, first chapter. Sorry, my bad. The next chapter, guys, value of supply. What are the sections? 15.1 plus 15.2 plus 15.3. Next, guys, while we are looking at this section wise revision, I'm just going to save this sheet. So yes, this is the point that everyone watching the video gets to see what's on my desktop. Section wise revision of GST. All right. Perfect. Now, guys, we move to the next bit, which is supply. Yes, let's tackle that chapter, which is here, guys. It's called supply under GST. Guys, this is a chapter that taught us a lot of definitions. Let's see if you remember who is a supplier, guys. The one who supplies. Who is a recipient? The one who pays. If the payment is free, the one who receives. What is business? Anything that is done for commercial gains, including if you are giving some benefit to the members of a society also. What is consideration? Something in return. What are business assets? Any assets which are used for business purposes, including stock. What are actionable claims? Any money, any amount which you can demand, including unsecured debt, LBG, lottery, betting, gambling. What is an agent? Anyone who sells your goods plus issues his own invoice. What is a del cadre agent, guys? Someone who not just sells but also collects money, and if he collects interest, will it be added to the supply? Yes. Next, guys, what is deemed distinct persons? Under the same pan, different entities, that is deemed distinct persons. What else? I think that was about it. And what is importation of services? Something that you're getting from Bahar se. Importation of goods, that's CA final. Only importation of services is to be taken here. Guys, the first supply section is section 7.1a, which says that for any supply, including what Yashas has given you all, it is B plus C. That means it should be in the course of business and there should be considerate. Even if one of them is not there, guys, it will not be a supply. And the moment there is supply, will the government be happy? Yes, because they get GST. In the last time May paper, guys, consideration was a donation given to a trust where a hoarding had to be put. Is that also consideration? Consideration can be anything monetary as well as non-monetary. Next, guys, is this one has a schedule linked to it, guys, schedule 2. Whether it is goods or whether it is services, how will you decide that? Actually, it's very logical. If you're buying an AC, it is goods. If you're renting the AC, it is services. But they say it will depend upon a thing called title. If the title is transferred today or in future like EMI, hire purchase, will it be goods? Yes, otherwise it will be service. Some things that will be always service, guys. Restaurant service, tenancy rights, works contract. What is works contract? Where you told someone two things, specification also and the main material also. And guys, last, undivided share in property. Now we also know printing of books is also a service. But what if the content is of the printer only? Then it is goods. Excellent, guys. That was 7.1a. Next is 7.1b. What is 7.1b? Bahar se services. And when you're getting services Bahar se, whether it is for business or not for business, as long as there is consideration, who will smile, guys? But who will pay this GST? Guys, the recipient. And now that you know charge of GST, it will be paid under RCM. Superb. Next, 7(1)(c). This is that case where there is no consideration. That means, can I say in a layman term, it is free supply? Yes. But it should be what purpose, guys? But just because of this, the government will not supply. Here, you will take them to which schedule? Schedule 1, and they will supply in 4, they will smile in 4 cases. Related, agent, imported, BA. For all these shortcuts, if you missed any or if you want, you can always refer to the QuickBook. In this video, I will also upload the QuickBook link or the Drive link where you can access all the documents. Next, related agent, if you are supplying to any related agent, including missing persons, supplying anything to an free, guys, all this is free, still we'll have to pay GST. How will you value it? CA finally. Next, import from whom, guys? So can I say import is tackled at 2 places? 7(1)(b), but there is for business or non-business. 7(1)(c), for which purpose? Business purpose, and it should be from which person? Related person. And last, business asset, like this laptop which I am using to record this lecture, guys, is that a business asset? Yes. If I donate it, is it a permanent transfer? On that, have I taken ITC? So this will also be a supply. Alright, guys, while we've done these schedules, there is a schedule called Schedule 3 which says that it's a negative list. Here the government is not smiling, guys. They have a very straight face like some of you all have right now. Yes, so they're not smiling because there's no GST, guys. So employees, partners, directors moved constitutional court for license of AC, burial of MPs. Mainly it is salary. Employees get salary, partners get salary, executive directors get salary, constitutional positions get salary, MPs get salary. MPs, MLAs, member of Panchayat, on salary there is no GST. Movement of trucks, trams, railways, no GST. Court fees, no GST. Alcohol licenses, no GST. Actionable claims, no GST except LBG and burial services, thankfully no GST. Guys, while we discuss this, there are 2 supplies that are slightly confusing because they always come in pairs. Section 8. If there is a mixed supply, there can be also composite. Composite supply is no problem because they are naturally bundled and there is one principal supply, like your hotel and your breakfast, like this laptop and warranty, like your mobile phone and your charger. Mixed supply or composite? Composite. But guys, if they are not naturally bundled and there is no principal supply, then it's called mixed supply, chargeable at highest rate, not of GST, but of that supply, the highest rate, and this is the rate of the principal supply. Guys, this is section 8. There is no straightforward jacket formula for remembering this. You have to see from case to case basis if there is natural bundle or not a natural bundle. Alright, you go buy a shirt and a pant is given free. Guys, mix, because it's not naturally bundled. You might think that, oh, people wear it together, but it's not a natural bundle. Are we okay, guys, with toothbrush and soap together? Mixed supply. Yes, so and lots of time ICI and the exam papers have told you if it's a mixed supply or not. One question that we did, combi supply, calculator and diary, mixed supply. Alright, so that is supply chapter, guys, and with that, one more chapter down. Let's put the sections here. So for this one, guys, supply chapter 7(1)(a), schedule 2 plus 7(1)(b), no schedule, 7(1)(c) with schedule, schedule 1 plus schedule 3 and plus section 8. Yes, some people are saying section, some people are saying plus, which is also a good thing. Yes, alright. So now, guys, we move to the next chapter. Alright. Yes, guys, we are moving to the next chapter, which is called charge of GST. Guys, when do you charge your phone? Just checking, mine is at 44%. I will not charge it. I will charge it at 9%. So section is section 9. In 9, guys, there is 9(1), 9(2), 9(3), 9(4) and 9(5). 9(1) says FCM. FCM is when basically a supplier supplies to a recipient. The recipient will bear the burden of GST, pay the GST to the supplier, and supplier will pay it to the government. That is, he will bear the headache. Headache means he will register, he will file his return, he will pay the GST, everything. 9(2) is same FCM for which products? 9.5 is on e-commerce. Guys, in 3 services, the government feels there could be confusion. Hotel, taxi and housekeeping. And in these 3 services, the government says, e-commerce operator, you are the bigger one, you pay the GST. But guys, what if housekeeping staff is also big? What if hotel is also a Taj Hotel? Can they also pay? Yes. Guys, the burden will be borne by the consumer. E-commerce operator will pay. Don't figure how will they share money and all of that. That is not supposed to be gone into. You will bear the burden, they will pay, and that's how it is. This is section 9.5 only for 3 services, H, T, H. Next, the hero sections, guys. In RCM, guys, we will not go through the entire detail one by one. But overall, guys, in RCM, who's the supplier? Is he small? Who's the recipient? Is he big, registered? So will they pay? Will they bear the burden also? And will they bear the headache also? You also now in Know in Tax Invoice chapter, they will also generate the invoice and they will also make the payment. So can you see this guy very relaxed, guys, on a beach, relaxed? Yeah, that kind of relaxed because he doesn't do anything. Everything is done by whom? R for RCM, R for recipient. There are some goods and there are some services which are under RCM. Let's see the goods first. Chewing, cashews, smoking, tobacco, bidi, using, lottery. In this case, guys, cotton, cashews, silk yarn, tobacco and tendu leaves. Supplied by whom? Agriculturist. Received by whom? Registered person. In all these cases, the registered person, you are big, agriculturist is an individual HUF, spare him, you pay the GST. You are anyways bearing the burden, why don't you bear the headache also? So they're like, okay, and guys, no one has a problem here. Please tell me, does agriculturist get his 10 lakh rupees for tobacco? Do you pay the GST to him? No, now you pay to the government, but are you paying the same thing? And that RCM tax has to be paid through how, guys? Cash. And guys, is the government happy? Whether you pay or whether your parents pay, restaurateur is happy because he gets the money. Same way, whether the supplier pays or the recipient pays, the government gets the money, they're happy. And last, guys, used goods or lotteries supplied by whom? Government. Government is a lazy government. They are greedy but lazy. Hence, these both are under RCM. While these are goods, not so important, the more important part are services. Some lawyers, lending cars, they met RBI, DIG, good government, where at CCD, sponsored breakfast and reversed basic charge. Guys, in this, we will not go into details. I'll just name the service. You always know in all these services, guys, who's supposed to pay the GST? Recipient. So we'll just name the service, and if there are any peculiarities, we'll discuss that. First, security. Is there a supplier? Is there a recipient? Only thing is, supplier should not be a company. That means it should be small. Next, legal services. Guys, is there a lawyer? And are they providing services? Generally, it's exempt, guys, to small business entities, to individuals, to government, to each other also is exempt. But to business entities, is it taxable? Yes, RCM. Next, this is lending of securities. Some lawyers lending cars. Car rental, guys, the supplier should not be the recipient should be a company and it should be car. Guys, they also get an option of RCM, which is same, which we'll discuss in GTA. Music composer, focus on your music. Overseeing committee, focus on overseeing. Directors, focus on yourself. The company is bigger, they will pay the GST. But remember, guys, directors getting salary outside of GST. Except salaries, whatever they get, RCM. Insurance agent, you keep supplying. Insurance company is big. GTA, stop. Guys, GTA, when they provide services to the government, exempt. Small business entities, or sorry, unregistered persons, exempt. LL Dr. Nam, also exempt. And if they give it to other than that, guys, is it taxable? Including to unregistered partnership firms and LLPs, and taxable at what rate, guys? 5% under RCM. But the problem is, because our recipient pays here, the GTA will not be able to take what, guys? So can he take FCM? The rate increases too. But the good part is you get ITC. Next, guys, government, guys, this was a question. When the government provides services, guys, are a lot of them exempt? Yes, like passport, driving license, etc. are exempt. Are some of them taxable? Under what, guys? RCM, because the government is very lazy. But only pat, when you pat the dog, does it become active? Same thing, unfortunately, for the government also. When you pat them, they become active. Postal, aircraft and vessel leasing, and transport of passengers and goods. Next, author, focus on your books, but you have an option of FCM. You need to register, you need to intimate, and Perfect. You need to be at this for 1 year. Tribunal is the same as construction companies, guys. TDR, FSI, long-term leases. They have to pay the GST under. But can they avoid paying it for residential projects? Yes. Provided, guys, remember 1 and 2%. And they have to purchase 80% of the inputs from whom? And they will not get ITC. Next, guys, direct selling agents. But they have to be individuals. Only individuals. Sponsorship services, guys. Sponsorship services provided to whom? Big companies or LLPs, partnership firm. Will it be under RCM? You guys are big paid under RCM. Paid under RCM. But guys, what if they are not? What if it's Aryan Khan or what if it's Baba Ramdev personally giving sponsorship? Then it's under FCM. And guys, you know sponsorship of panchayats, universities, etc. is exempt. BF and BC. Providing services to banks, RCM. But rural branches of banks? Exempt. And guys, recovery agent only of whom? Banks, FIs. When I say banks, etc. means banks, FIs and NBFCs. Perfect. Guys, in all these cases, who is the hero of the story? And who will, whose liability ledger will it go? Recipients. Who will get the credit? Everything, guys. If you are lazy, why will you do anything? So in the exam, if a RCM supply counts, which has come recently in one of the papers we did, in that case, guys, who is supposed to pay RCM? Recipient. Guys, remember who is the hero of RCM? So in his liability, you will put the amount, and his credit also you will put the amount. Only thing is when he pays, how will he pay? Through cash. Super. Guys, that is section 9. And now we move on to section 10. 10.1 and 10.2. It's a very amazing scheme called. You can only take it if you are trim, trader, restaurant service provider or. And guys, for this your turnover last year should be up to or 75 lakh for all northeastern states except Assam replaced by Uttarakhand. Assam is too big, so they get 1.5 crore. Uttarakhand is small, so they get 75 lakh. Guys, aggregate turnover means everything that is going outward except 4 things. IIGN, no interest, no inward supplies, no GST and no non-taxable, that is schedule 3, that is not included. Guys, this turnover definition is very important. Will diesel and petrol be a part of this turnover? Yes. Still there will be 2 people who say no, but I'll convert them to yes, that yes, petrol, diesel, everything has to be included here. And does it have to be seen pan wise? Yes. Next, guys, this is a composition scheme. That means are you still registered here also? It's like your phone having vibrate and loud options. Same way in GST we have 2 options, regular and composition. Once you're in this scheme, 6 things you cannot do. Casually needing ice cream, studying, income tax, online. You cannot be CTP or NRTP, which is basically like casual or non-resident, which we'll see in registration chapter. You cannot be supplying non-taxable. Notification is allowed, nil is allowed. With that, guys, definition of exempt supply. What is exempt supply? Has 3 N's: nil, not taxable and notification. Here, which one is not allowed? Non-taxable. This one, PETA. Guys, do you remember PETA? Prohibited goods. What is not allowed? Manufacturing. Trading is allowed. Next, service is not allowed except restaurant and marginal services. Do you remember marginal services? Last year's turnovers, 10% or 5 lakh, whichever is allowed is now allowed. Interstate you cannot do, online you cannot do. Guys, these are 6 things that you cannot do. If you do this, you're out of the scheme. If you cross the turnover, you're out of the scheme. If you want to voluntarily get out of the scheme, and if the GST officer wants you out, you're out of the scheme. Guys, you have to tell the government within 7 days that you're getting out of the scheme. But what is a major problem with this scheme, guys? That you pay only how much? 1, 5 and 1%. Because of that, the government is not happy. So will they give you ITC? No. But the good part is, will you charge GST to your customers? So if in the exam they say that you bought something from a composition scheme dealer, did you pay any GST? So will you get any credit? No. Are you getting the point, guys? Yes. And guys, that's the composition scheme. He will issue a bill of supply. And how many times does he wake up, guys? Every quarter you will wake up. You will, by the 18th of the next month, GST CMP 08 you will file and you will go back to sleep. And a GSTR 4, when will you file, guys? At the end of the year, 30th April. Yes, are we okay? I'm linking this to returns because now we know that chapter as well. Guys, this is for other than service providers. What if service providers want it? Same thing, except, guys, what does the limit become? 50 lakh. And guys, what is the GST rate here? 6%, which is 3 and 3%. This is 1, 5 and 1, which is 0.5 and 0.5%. Are we okay with this scheme, guys? With this, guys, we complete another chapter here. Let's put the sections. What are the sections, guys? 9 1, 9 3, 9 4 and 9 5. Then, guys, 10 1 and 10 2. This is for composition scheme, and 10 2A, this is composition scheme but for service providers. Alright. That brings us to the end of another chapter, which is really big. It took us almost about 3 days to do this chapter and 7 minutes to revise it, guys. Alright. Yes, can we go to the next chapter, guys? Yes. Alright. The next chapter is called, guys, why should someone register under GST? Because only then can you charge GST to the customers, and only then can you take ITC. All of you guys here, when you get registered, it's a great thing. Of course, formalities increase, but you get a lot of ITC. Now, registration is in sections 22 to section 30. First section which you check, 24 talks about compulsory registration. Please tell me the shortcut. Compulsory registration is needed tonight. Guys, while other things are great, the most important reason why people need to be compulsory registered is the last one, interstate supply, which has 2 exceptions. One, handicraft goods up to 20 lakhs and interstate supply of services up to 20 lakhs. We'll see that. A is agent. Agent of which person? So if your principal is taxable or registered, you need to be compulsorily. What if your principal is not registered? Then you would have to depend on section 22. Notified person, OIDR, TDS, TCS. These are CA final concept. NRTP, CTP. ISD, CA final concept. RCM, recipient. If you are receiving under RCM, you need to pay. You are the hero of the story. And e-commerce operators or sellers of goods. Guys, tomorrow if I start selling these pens on online, then I need to be compulsory registered. Are we okay? Next section. If 24 does not apply, only then go to 22, guys, in the exam. First check for 24. Yes. 22 says that we will check your turnover, and based on turnover we'll see whether you need to register or not. So you get a 40 lakh limit of turnover if you like which animal, guys? Pigs. If you are not dealing with no trading, no manufacturing. They are very strict here. If you are not doing, if you are only doing, and if you are not in some states, guys, which states? NT, Mami and Putsam. Can you repeat, guys, what is NT, Mami? Manipur and Mizoram. Putsam, Puducherry, Uttarakhand, Telangana, and where is Sam? Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya. Alright. Guys, then 40 lakhs, congratulations. And guys, if you cross 40 lakh, will you have to register? In one state or all? One PAN, one turnover, one scheme. Next, if this does not apply, which step? What is it? 10 lakhs. If you are in which states, guys? And guys, what if I have one entity in Karnataka, one in Tripura? Then the lower limit, guys, remember bad apple, rotten apple spoils the entire, all the apples. So here also limit will reduce, and default, guys, if not these two, then 20 lakhs. Again, this is default for everyone. Yes. Guys, remember aggregate turnover definition is the same. For an agent, if you are supplying goods on your behalf or the behalf of principal, you have to include both. Are we okay with this? Guys, people are very worried about registration, and hence they tell the government, I don't want to register. Does the government hear them? HEARS. Agriculturist, if you are cultivating and selling, don't register. Exempt supplier exclusively, doctors, don't register. RCM suppliers, let him be the hero. Why are you registering? Handicraft and service, even interstate, up to how much? Handicraft even in CTP up to 20 lakhs overall, and suppliers even on e-commerce operators, guys. So handicraft gets CTP and yes, service providers get online. So that means basically as a CA firm, guys, can I supply interstate? Yes. Do I need to compulsory register? No. Up to how much? And guys, all these concepts, after the concepts, the more sums you do, the better you'll get. Yes, please don't underestimate the power of sums, and don't overestimate the power of concepts. You could be by hearting this entire video, but till you know sums, you don't know how exam tests you. Alright. Post that, guys, we are looking at a section called section 25. Guys, do we need to register every state? In the same state, can I have one registration? So we can be all together or all separate. Guys, does a SEZ require separate registration? It is considered a separate country or separate state only. Next, guys, voluntary registration can we do? Do you know what is DDP? Do we need a PAN number? Without that, no GST number, guys. That's the foundation. It's almost like you giving your exams. You cannot go ahead without that, guys, without the PAN number, except NRTP. Do we need an Aadhaar number also now? Otherwise, guys, 30 days. They might take 30 days. And guys, can they suo moto register us? Can we appeal against it? Can we confirm it also within 90 days? And guys, for UIN, who takes UIN? Embassies, consulates, UN offices. How many of them are there in India? 11. NRTP goes to how many countries? CTP wakes up, not CTP, composition scheme, 4 times. Guys, UIN is only for refund because their supplies are exempt. So for refunds, you take UIN. And guys, do we know what is APOB? Do we know what is PPOB? And guys, if you are liable to register, and if you are proactive, do you get an earlier effective date? That means if you register within how many days? The day you become liable were the day you get registered. But what is the advantage, guys? From that day, ITC. Disadvantage. From that day, supply. But do I have to revise my invoices? Yes, we see revised invoices in tax invoice chapter. But guys, what about voluntary registration? No, you don't get earlier effective date. Earlier effective is only when you're liable. And also, guys, that's about it. And remember 777, you get 7 days. Sorry, he gets 7 days to ask you questions. You get 7 days to reply, and he gets 7 days to accept or reject. Any mistake, guys, deemed cancellation if it's from yours, deemed registration if it's from his side. Next, are we all in this together? Same with GST also. And guys, how many days was the exhibition in Delhi? So section 27 talks about CTP and NRT. Do you know the definition? Yes. Don't want it right now, but keep the definition in your mind. How many days prior to they should register? Should they pay advance GST? If there is any excess, you can always take a refund, no problem. And guys, here, how many days is the validity of the registration? A90, that is period applied for, or 90 days, whichever is less. And guys, can it be extended? How many times? Once. Again, A90. So maximum duration can be how much, guys? And for NRTP, guys, do we have trust issues with him? So we do take their passport details, foreign registration, and PAN of their India representative. Next, guys, can we change it? We can, if requires approval, constitution change, address change, and name change. Others, guys, no approval. And guys, can we change the PAN number? Section 29. Yes, guys. Can our registration be cancelled on our own? But during that process, guys, is your registration suspended? During suspension, what all you cannot do? No supply, no ITC, no returns, and also no e-way bills. Alright, and guys, 29.2, can the GST officer cancel your registration? If he feels you can, immediately commence 36 frauds or miss ITC 99. These are 8 reasons. We've done them many number of times. You can go and check, have a look. But mainly, guys, no return filing, FMS, not commencing business for how many months, not issuing, not supplying without making invoices, and any contravention of GST law. Alright, and guys, if your registration has been cancelled, what's the most dangerous thing, guys? ITC disappears, and hence can you request the officer to give you back the ITC? Can you ask him to revoke the cancellation? Yes. Within how many days? Can it be extended? Earlier, guys, depending on 30 days, now depending on officer. And guys, once he revokes or before he revokes, do you have to do the rightful thing? Whatever is the rightful thing, you have to do that. Alright, with that, guys, we complete another chapter. and let's write the sections. What is the registration section? 22, 23, 24. These are for registration. Yes. 25, 26, 27. This is CTP and NRTP. Plus 28. 29 is for what, guys? Cancellation. And 30 is revocation. All right. The video is now started, guys, and so should we. Yes, let's get back from our phones, now back to our books. Alright, which is the next chapter, guys, that we've done? Yes, again, guys, I don't know whether all of GST is my favorite or only these, but again, one of my favorite chapters is time of supply. Guys, from a chapter that I would not like at all to one of my favorite chapters, this has gone transition because of shortcuts. Let's see, guys, what is the time of supply. Guys, right now the time is 9:02, but guys, generally the time is what? 12 and 13. Guys, whenever we require time of supply, but why do we need time of supply? Because the government wants GST and wants it early, very early, and hence they say we'll figure time of supply. And time of supply for goods, guys, what is the section? 12, and for services, 13. 12.1 and 13.1 are very useless sections, guys. They are only introduction. Next, guys, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Here also, guys, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. People are repeating these numbers, guys, good job. But yeah, so 6, guys, let's do 4 first. For a 4, guys, you're buying 4 vouchers. Always, guys, gift how many vouchers? 4. And when you do that, whenever you purchase the voucher, is that supply? Yes. But what if sometimes you don't know what they're going to buy? Then if its supply is not identifiable, we'll wait till it's redeemed. Alright. Next, guys, how much interest, late fee, penalty will be charged? 6%. Those are all shortcuts, guys. And in that case, guys, can it be waived off? Can it not be charged, not be paid? So when do you know it's happening? Whenever it's received, guys. All these, the hero is the supplier. Everywhere the hero is who, guys? Why? Anyone? Because he's the one paying the government. So he's the hero everywhere except one we'll see soon. Is residual section, whereby nothing you know. So here, whenever you file your return or whenever you pay, that's your residual. Guys, here is the RCM. And in RCM, guys, suddenly who's the hero, guys? So from the recipient's perspective, check 4 things. Recipient pays in 31 and outside of that is end. Receipt of goods, payment or 31 days from the date of invoice. If the payment is in books of accounts or bank account, which one will you take? Whichever is early. Nice. And if all these 3 are not available, then entry, journal entry, guys. Yes. And it's for services. Recipient pays in 31. Same thing entirely. Remove R and this is 61. So payment date or 61 days from the date of invoice. In the option, sometimes MCQs, they write 60 days after the date of invoice. Is that the same thing? Yes. And guys, if all these 2 are not available, then journal entry. But guys, sometimes can you get Bahar se services? Is that also under RCM? But if it's from an associate enterprise, imagine going to your uncle's shop to buy the t-shirt, guys. Will he issue an invoice to you? Maybe he'll not. So in that case, guys, will you ignore the invoice? And this is feeling alone in the so will you get entry here inside? Yes, that's a good way of remembering it, guys. So payment date or entry date, whichever is earlier. And guys, 12.2 and 13.2. FCM, where, guys, for that I just need to ask you a question, guys. In case of goods, what is the due date of issuing invoice? Whenever they are removed or whenever they are delivered. And for services, patient, guys, 30 days or 45 days for banks, etc. Now 12.2 says whenever I supply goods under which mechanism? FCM. 12.2 says I demand payment. Either the invoice date or due date of invoice, which is under section 31, or payment date. But guys, sometimes payment can be very much in advance. So they have removed it by notification number 66 of 2007. But what have they removed? Only advance payment. But what is it after the invoice payment? Automatically ignored, guys. So can we conveniently ignore any payment in the exam? But of course you will write it and then ignore it, because it's later automatically gets ignored. And guys, this is what is IDP. What is this? It is IP or PP. Guys, a friend who wishes you a birthday on time, will you respect it? Same way, if the invoice is issued on time, will you respect it? Invoice date or payment date, whichever is earlier. If the invoice is late, will you ignore it? Provision date or payment date, whichever is earlier. Guys, having said this, please let's go to the other invoice dates. For sale on approval, when should the invoice be issued, guys? Whenever it is approved, or maximum 6 months. For cessation of services, whenever it's ending. For continuous supply of goods, no. Whenever the payment or statement is issued. For services, D, P, C, in that order, yes. First look at due date. If that is not given, then completion date. And guys, with that we complete a chapter called time of supply. If you pay up to 1000 rupees extra, can I push it to the next supply? Yes, you have an option as a supplier, pay along with now only, or pay it to the next time. Anything else? I think one more. No, I think that is it. Yeah, that's the chapter, guys. Let's write the sections again. Yes, we'll write the section here. This is the next chapter, chapter number 6. Time of supply. What are the sections, guys? 12 and 13. 12 1, 12 2, 12 3, 12 4, 12 5 and 12 6. Same thing here also, guys. This is for what? FCM. This is for what? This is for what? This is for residual, and this is for interest. Yes, this is all right. Before things hang up here, we'll shut this. Perfect. I'll just save this. Perfect. Guys, we move on to the next chapter. Which is the next chapter now? Yes, the big hero of the chapter, but you will see now how effortlessly you will be able to do that chapter. So we are now moving ahead to the chapter called Input Tax Credit. Guys, is ITC a good thing? Yes. We do it with the payment chapter, so let's revise both. Whenever you are registered, 3 ledgers open up. Liability, credit and cash. Liability is like your electricity bill. Credit ledger is like your Paytm account, and cash ledger is like your bank account. But in your GST, guys, do they pay you interest like your bank? So generally you don't keep money, as and when required you put money. And between credit and cash, which will you use first? Always credit, and then only you will use cash. Alright. Now guys, ITC is such a good thing that any good thing in life has conditions. So does ITC. So let's start this brand new amazing chapter, which is called Input Tax Credit, along with what, guys? Payment. Guys, ITC says there are some sections or conditions under section 16. What is the first, guys? 16.1 says it should be used for the purpose of, and you should be registered. Use means even intention of using, guys. Yes, if one of these speakers, guys, I keep it off, even then the intention is to use it for business purpose. 16.2 says DRGR. Now what is DRGR, guys? You should have a document. The document should be, the goods should be received. That document should be uploaded, guys. Now you know the return, guys. In which return? GSTR 1. What if the document is not uploaded? Or what if the return is not filed? Sorry, no ITC. And you should have received the goods. What is G? Government should have got the money. And what is R? You should have filed your return. Guys, for receipt, do you remember receipt of first lot or last lot? Can I take it proportionately? No. And for government, guys, the government should get the money when? Recently. But you should pay the money when? Within 180 days. Which rule tells you that? Rule 37. You know, guys, we've done a sum today only, that if you don't pay within 180 days, or if you part pay within 180 days, and the balance, guys, you'll have to do 3 things. First, reverse whatever GST is mistaken, not the main amount, whatever GST. Interest at what rate? On what amount? The GST amount, not on the main amount, GST amount. And whenever you finally pay after 180 days, whatever is GST, you will get it recredit. Interest, sorry, you will not get it recredit. Yes. While we do an amazing revision, hoodie is being used, put to best use there. Yes. So I really appreciate. Yeah, nice. Next, guys, is section 16.3. Guys, 16.3 says that whenever you're buying capital goods, what are you buying? capital goods. So the GST component, guys, can it go at two places? No. You can either take it to electronic credit ledger, or you can take it to you can capitalize it, basically take it to the balance sheet. Can you do both? No. Which one would you want to do, guys? Credit ledger, because that is immediate. Depreciation is very slow. So that is section 16.3 and 16.4. Just like things have expiry period, even your GST has expiry till you take it to the credit ledger. What is the expiry, guys? This year, let it get over. After that, 30th November or annual return filing date, whichever is earlier. Guys, due date or filing date? One. Due date is different, guys. Due date is 31st December. Can you file before that also? Yes. So that is the time limit for taking ITC. Once you take it to the credit ledger, guys, till when can I use it? Whenever you want, no problem with that. We come to the section 17. 17.1 is a very nice give and take relationship. They say for taxable supply and zero rated supply. What is zero rated supply? Export and SEZ supply, zero rated. For these two supplies, is the government happy for various reasons? So will you get credit? Yes. And for, guys, personal supply and exempt supply, is the government unhappy? Yes. So will you get credit? No. This is great, but 17.2 and 17.3 says, what about common credits? That means a tempo which is used for all supplies. Then, guys, you will use it proportionately based on rule 42 and rule 43. Are these your favorite rules? Yes. Why? Because we don't have to do them right now at CA final. And guys, 17.4 we'll come to after we do 17.5. 17.5 says that, listen, we know you're very smart and we know you might trick us, and hence we blocked some credit. So I'm not going to use the alphabets. I'm just going to talk about the concept. The first one is VAM, vessel, aircraft and motor vehicle. Is it blocked? Yes. So cars, bikes, everything is blocked, guys, unless GST, please. If it's for goods, same line. What is same line? Selling it ahead or renting it ahead. T, training. Passengers, guys. No, passengers is only for which? Aircraft, vessel or motor vehicles? Only motor vehicles more than 13. Guys, remember 13 is unlucky, so only more than 13. Next, guys, it is food and beverage. Also beauty, also clubhouse membership, gym membership, insurance, holidays. All that is blocked except SS, unless you are in the, or unless it is statutorily required. Guys, construction is also blocked of what property? Is equal to pipeline is equal to telecom towers. Except, guys, PSP. What is P? Plant and machinery. What is S? Same line. And PNL. If you debit it to PNL, guys, plant and machinery includes the foundation. Same thing with develop, guys. Yes. Yes. Self-develop. Same thing, PSP. Next. Which scheme is easy? So for them, is it blocked? Yes. Who is the foreigner? For him, is it blocked? Except import of goods. For G, a personal supply, guys, is that blocked? Yes. H, gift, samples, etc. Is it blocked? Yes. And unhappy? Destruction, loss, stolen, obsolete goods, also unhappy. I, investigate, guys. Can the officer block your credit and investigate? There is a rule called Rule 86A where he needs the approval of whom? Commissioner. For how long can he block it? It's not called blocking, it's called restricting your ITC usage. Can be restricted for how much time? Maximum 1 year pending investigation. Can you make an application for earlier restriction removal? Yes. And guys, you know the reasons. Everything is non-existent, guys. So, and that is the reason for Rule 86A. Guys, one more thing, guys. If you pay any tax demanded by the GST officer, can you take credit? No. Good job, guys. And now we come to section 17.4. Guys, banks, FIs and NBFCs and insurance companies. Not insurance, banks. So can they take the option of BD 50%? What is BD 50%? Is a shortcut. Instead of rule 42 and 43, you follow BD 50%. What is that? First, take the entire, including blocked. Yes, guys, take the entire ITC. Let's say that is 10 lakhs. What will you remove? Whatever is blocked, let's say 2 lakh is blocked. Will you remove that? Yes. Next, DDP. Will you remove 3 lakh? Yes. Why, guys? 100%. So can I take it to the credit ledger? Yes. And whatever is the balance, guys, how much? 2.5, 50% will I take it to the credit ledger? Yes. This option has to be stuck for how many? 1 year. And with that, guys, we come to the last section of ITC chapter, which is section 18. Section 18.1 guys and 18.2, someone is very very happy because 4 people are playing drums there. They are registering, voluntary registering, composite supply to which supply? Regular supply, and exempt supply to PAN. Register voluntarily or credit expires. They say, listen, you are now my favorite because you are going to pay GST. But I understand on the stock that is in your godown, on the capital tempo that is parked, you didn't get the GST, but now I will give it. So go in the godown and check. Guys, will you get for stock? Yes. Will you get for stock? Yes. Will you get it here? Yes. Provided the stock is fresh. Fresh means how fresh? From the effective date. And guys, you remember for registration, effective date can be earlier effective date. So first find out the effective date and then see 1 year. And guys, for capital goods, will you get? Will you get it here? Here will you get? After minusing 5% per quarter or part thereof. Where does the quarter start from? April, May, June, July, August, September. Fixed quarters, guys. So what if I buy it today, guys? That is 3rd September. Will July, August, September quarter be counted? Yes. Even part of the quarter, 5%. But guys, these two are already registered. Are we sure? Yes. These two are not registered. They are getting registered. Are you getting the difference, guys? So just because exempt supply is becoming taxable doesn't mean you're there. You have to check whether you are registered or not registered. Alright, that is 18.1 and 18.2. Guys, 18.3 says, can I give my ITC to Yashas Academy just like that? No. Unless I am SAM R, selling, amalgamating, merger or reorganization. Then can I transfer it? Yes, GST ITC 02 I will submit. They will accept it and it gets transferred. In case of merger based on value of assets. And guys, in the same state, if I have another deemed distinct person, can I transfer to him also? Yes, but same value of assets. 18.6. Can I sell a capital good? But what is the promise when I bought the capital good? 60 months, and they gave me credit because I was supposed to use it for 60 months. If I sell it within those 60 months, will they punish me? Yes. A or B, whichever is higher. A is whatever the supply value into the GST rate, and B is whatever credit I had taken. Minusing how much, guys? 5% per quarter. Everywhere is 5% per quarter. Alright, are we okay? For molds, dies, refractory bricks, it's only A. After 60 months, it's only A. And last, guys, the government is very sad. Play the most melodramatic sad music in the background. Yes, 18.4 and 18.5, because what is happening to you? You are getting into composition supply, or your supply is becoming exempt. Guys, in this case, they say, listen, now you are not our favorite anymore. But we gave you stock, on that we gave you credit, on capital goods we gave you credit, you have to give it back. So guys, will you have to calculate on stock? And on capital goods, excellent, based on number of months, and you have to reverse it through where, guys? Credit ledger, and if it's balance, lapse. So forego, which rule, guys? 4-4 forego. And that is your 18th section, which took us so much time, guys, for the first time, but now it's getting easier. Yes. And now we come to the payment part. Which 3 ledgers do we know, guys? Electronic credit ledger, cash ledger, and liability. So first talk about electronic credit ledger. Guys, what can you use this ledger for? Only FCM tax, no IFPO, no RCM tax, only FCM tax. And can this be blocked? Do you know rule 86A? Yes. Cash ledger. Guys, can be used to pay what, guys? Anything, it's your money, pay whatever you want, IFPO. How do you deposit money into this? Challan. You need to generate a challan, manual challan, electronic challan. Only one challan, guys, 4 major heads. How many minor heads? And what if you make a mistake? Can you transfer it? Yes, GST, PMT 09 and section 4910. Any of the ledgers you're quoting, section 49 is what is supposed to be quoted. Guys, challan, when you generate, what number is generated? CPIN, how many digits? And how many? 15 digits, and 15 days, 14 digits. When you pay SIN, because it's a SIN to pay 17 digits, and E focal point branch. Do you know the nominated branch? Yes. For NEFT and RTGS? RBI. And guys, what else is there in the cash ledger? TIFPO, major heads, minor heads. That's about it in the cash ledger. And guys, when do you get liabilities? Whenever you supply. Even RCM purchase will give you liabilities. Guys, how do you pay your liabilities, in which order, guys? First, TIFPO, which is self-assessed of prior periods. Next, TIFPO, which is self-assessed of, and last, TIFPO, which is of, perfect. All this is in which section, guys? Section 49. And guys, there's a section called section 50 which talks about interest. Guys, if you delay making payment, will someone charge you interest? Does the GST also charge you interest? At what rate, guys? On the net amount. Because of course you need to pay 1 lakh, but you have 40,000 credit. So what is the net amount? And number of days, you know how to calculate. Guys, if I, for August, what is the due date of filing? September 20. No one dare charge interest up to which date? And then 21st can they start? How do you calculate 30 minus 21 plus 1? Then omniver number of days. And guys, what if you've excessively or unreasonably reduced liability or increased ITC? Then 24%. Excellent, guys. That is section 50. Anything else, guys? Please. Over the counter, yes. Guys, cash, check and DD, what is the limit you can deposit? 10,000 per person per period, per return. And guys, what if other things? No limit. And for GST officers, this 10,000 limit does not apply. For the government, this 10,000 limit does not apply. Alright. Guys, let's write the sections for our hero chapter, that is ITC. What are the sections for ITC, guys? 16 plus 16.1 plus 16.2 plus 16, sorry, and 16.4. And what are these, guys? Are these conditions for ITC? Yes. Yes. Next, guys, 17.1 plus 17.2 and 3 plus 17.4 and mainly, guys, 17.5, which is block credit. Next, guys, 18.1 with comes along with 18.2 plus 18.3 plus 18.4 which comes along with what? 18.5 and plus 18.6. But main thing, 18 is not that important, honestly. I'm going to the next one, which is payment chapter. Which section? Mainly, guys, 49. But we have a section called 49.10. Guys, 49.10 is for what? Movement of money from one to the other. Next, guys, is section 50 is for what? Interest. And guys, there are three sections, 49A, 49B and rule 88A. And this is for how do you pay your liability, how you do you use your credit. Very, very important, guys, this one. Please tell me the steps, or how do you pay or how you use your credit. First, IGST credit to be used for what? Help yourself first. And then CNS in any proportion, in any manner. Next, IGST has to be completely exhausted before using C or S credit. Next, C credit against C liability or I liability. S credit against? First help yourself, then help your parents. And CNS? No cross utilization. Guys, this is a very, very good, this was an exam question, guys. How do you utilize your credits? Now, 86A, yes, and 86B also, that reminds me, guys. 86B is what, guys? Beg. So let's revise those also. So rule 86A and rule 86B. 86B says that in the months that you are rich, that means your supply is more than 50 lakh rupees, you will have to pay your liabilities in at least 1% cash. Can I pay more? You're more than happy, more than welcome, but at least 1% through cash. This will not apply in 4 cases. Tax refunded in cash by the government. Which government? Or government PSUs, not applicable. Next, if till this month you've always paid cash in this year, if till this month you've always paid cash more than 1%, this does not apply. But this exception has an exception in the month of April. And if in the last year, guys, you got a GST refund of more than, then sorry, you are anyways paying us a lot of money. And if in the last 2 years, your income tax payment has been more than 1 lakh in both the years, then sorry, we don't want more cash from you. So these are 4 exceptions. Are we okay? Guys, in your exam, 86B is definite. 100%. Yes, or the November 22 or May 23, one of them, guys, 100% rule 86B is there. Alright. Next. Guys, which chapter are we in now? Tax invoice. So let's discuss that. Yes, guys. there is a chapter called tax invoice plus debit notes, credit notes and e-way bill. Let's discuss this chapter. Guys, the main section for tax invoice is which one? Is there a due date for invoice? Yes. Is there a format for invoice? No. Do you need to put details? Mainly guys, HSN, we've revised it, you know all the details. Recipient details only if the supply is more than 50,000, but B2B you have to always mention. Guys, date of invoice is it important? And serial number guys, is it important? Yes. For banks etc. guys, can they issue consolidated invoice without the serial number and the recipient details? Yes. For movie theaters guys, any document will be invoice. Alright. And guys, 31 is the main thing, but 31.3 has some special cases. A. Revise invoices. Guys, how many days do you get to revise them? 30. B. Are you very busy? Less than 200, no individual value. If more 200 or more, individual. B2B, individual. C. Bill of supply, invoice come bill of supply. D. Have you demanded advance? Give them a receipt voucher. Is there advance being cancelled? Give them a refund voucher. And who is doing the full work guys? Recipient. He'll issue a self-generated invoices plus a payment voucher. Guys, next 32. Can you collect unauthorized GST? And even if you do, who does it belong to? 33. Do you have to mention it separately, the amounts and GST rates? And 34 guys, debit notes and credit notes. What is the shortcut? QTV. On the invoice, check the invoice guys. If the QTV is high, quantity, tax rate or value is high, what do? Cut it. Excellent. Cutting means credit note. And if the QTV on the invoice is low, do you increase it? Is that dangerous? Yes, so debit note. Are we okay with this? Next guys, instead of an invoice, can we issue a delivery challan? When guys, if it's not a supply, example sending it to exhibition, sending it for job work, what do you issue? CKD, SKD, completely knocked down, semi knocked down, the big crane in parts, what do you issue? First supply tax invoice, after that delivery challans. Next guys, are we going E? So E invoice guys, is there a different invoice? No, it's the same invoice, but now where do you have to go? IRP, and you have to register it, and what do you get? Invoice along with IRN along with QR code. Guys, here please tell me who's subject to e-invoice? Anyone having turnover of more than 20 crores in any year since 17-18. And do you know the exceptions guys? PTS, GTS, movie theaters, banks etc., SEZ units, and now even the government. Only for which supplies guys? B2B supplies, because that's where the frauds were happening. And what are the advantages? It's a good way to report and reconcile fake errors. Are we okay with that? Yes. Next guys, you know what is a dynamic QR code? Someone which has an embedded amount. Compulsory only for people turnover more than 500 crores since any year. And guys, it is only for B2C supplies. Alright, what else is there in this chapter? Which one? E-way bill. Are we talking about e-way bills? Yes. Alright. So guys, e-way bills are in a section called section 68 and rule 138. Guys, when you move around, what do you carry with you? So when goods move around, more than 50,000 including GST. But 3 cases compulsory. Job work, handicraft goods and voluntary, it's compulsory. Who can generate the e-way bill? Registered supplier or registered recipient or transporter if he is authorized. Guys, per invoice do we need 1 e-way bill? And per vehicle also. What if you have multiple e-way bills in one truck? Can you issue a consolidated e-way bill? Normal e-way bill is GST e-way bill 01, otherwise it's 02. Consolidated e-way bill is just like a trip sheet, no validity of its own. But guys, other e-way bills, do they have a validity? For 1 day for every 200 kilometers or part thereof, and if it's over dimensional or ship, 20 kilometers, 1 day for 20 kilometers. Can you cancel a e-way bill? Within how many hours? But after movement, sorry, no. Does it have to be accepted? 72 hours or else deemed accepted. Guys, how many parts of the e-way bill? Part A and part A, once you submit guys, can you change it? Part B, any number of times because it has transporter details. And guys, what else? Please check. E-way bill, what else is there? In some cases, you don't require e-way bill. Do you know that? Yes, postman used LPG, kerosene, cycle, rickshaw for transporting those things. Alright. Guys, e-way bill facility can be blocked. Is that true? If you don't file your returns for 2 months. Composition scheme also 2 months, or GSTR 1 also, or when your GST registration is suspended. And guys, when it's blocked, can you make outward supplies? But your friends, can they visit you? Can you have inward supplies? Yes, you can make inward supplies. Can the officer stop you and check you? Does it require approval? But physical verification, does it require approval? But he has to upload a basic report within and a final report within 3 days. Alright, so that is the e-way bill, guys. Important, very important. Yes, that was a chapter called returns. Sorry, invoice. Guys, please tell me what are the sections here. 31 plus 32 plus 33 plus 34 plus 68, and which rule, guys? 138. Of course, guys, the hero section is 31, which has all 1, 4, 7, 2, 5, 6, and but if you forget it, 31 works. Alright. Now, guys, we come to almost the last chapter. Exemptions we will not revise because there are too many of those. So we'll come to the last chapter, which is called returns. Alright, so we'll look at the returns chapter, guys. Guys, are returns telling the government what you've done? In GST, do you have to file monthly return? Sometimes quarterly and also annually. And guys, return section starts with section where you have to file which return, guys? GSTR 1. Guys, this has to be filed by everyone except is not compulsory. This is a statement of your outward supplies. And guys, what if you supplied B to B? Invoice wise, and what if you supplied B to C? Except interstate more than 2.5 lakhs. Guys, even if you've not made any outward supplies, nil return, do you have an SMS facility for that? Yes. And what if you made some mistakes in GSTR 1, guys? In whichever month you notice it, can you incorporate the changes? Yes, perfect. And GSTR 1 details get auto-populated in what, guys? At 2A or GSTR 4A. Alright, you submit it by the 10th of the next month. 2 people don't have to go wait for the next month. CTP and people whose registration are being cancelled. Next, guys, is section 38, GSTR 2, which is a useless one because not yet notified. And the next one, section 39, which the first return is GSTR 3B. This is the main monthly returns to be filed for whatever you supplied, whatever you purchased, whatever is your ITC. To be submitted by when, guys? 20th of the next month. Practically, guys, dates have changed, but no problem, they will not question you on the dates. Guys, this return has to be filed along with what? Payment. Empty envelope is not right, guys. So payment along with the return has to be filed, otherwise invalid return. And guys, is not compulsory here also? Yes, here also. And guys, GSTR 4. By which date, guys? Only once a year? Yes. But guys, your payment has to be made. So are they aligned or not aligned? Not aligned, it's delinked. And payment by 18th of the month next to the quarter. So April, May, June, July 18, GST, CMP 08. But what if you're in this scheme also and that scheme also? Both this and that, guys, are the shortcut. When you are in this, do this. When you're in that, do that as well. And composition scheme, guys, for outward supplies, do they need to put details? No one's taking credit, so why details? And purchases? Auto-populated, 4A, remember? Yes. And guys, GSTR 5. NRTP, guys, within how many days? 7 days or 20th next month, whichever is early. And GSTR 11. UINs. And guys, what if you file these late? Do we have a late fee? We'll speak about that. But first, guys, section 40, first return. In the first return, different, guys? No. It only has details of which invoices? Revised invoices. 41 not there, 42 not there, 43 not there, 44. What took us 44 hours, guys? And because of that, how much did we charge? GSTR 9 to be filed by which date? First 2 years, guys, 17, 18, 18, 19, did we have a relaxation? Yes, so that is over now, not very important. And guys, annual return has to be filed by everyone except is not casual. And annual return, guys, it can be 9A for Aram, 9B for Big, and 9C for everyone who has to do a conciliation. If you don't file an annual return, is the fees different? Yes, late fees is different for annual return. And guys, what is section 45? After how many years do you file it? 10 years. So that's the shortcut, section 45 GSTR 10, after 10 years and 45 crores of turnover. And guys, this is to be filed within how many months? 3 months from later of following dates, date of order of cancellation or effective date of cancellation. And what else? Annual return and final return, are they exclusive? Do you have to file only one of them? No, you have to file both of them. Annual return every year, final return only in the last year. Guys, 46 and 47, guys, will they knock your door because you've not filed a return, and will they charge you late fees? Yes. Guys, late fee is what? 100 rupees per day or 5,000, whichever is lower. For annual return only, guys, what is it? 100 rupees per day or 0.5% of turnover, whichever is. Guys, watch out. Have they rationalized it? But for which returns have they rationalized? Only GSTR 1, GSTR 3B and GSTR 4. For annual return, no rationalization. For final return, no. First return, nothing, guys. Only these have been rationalized. Yes. So what is the rationalization? Depending on turnover, maximum or maximum or maximum or maximum 4 times and 2 times. Guys, this is under CGST. Also under SGST, depending on the turnover. If the turnover is nil or up to or more than, and for GSTR 4 it's 250 into 4 times, which is 1000. Guys, this rationalization has happened from June 21. Is the old rate still applicable? Yes, of course. For those which are not rationalized, old rates still apply. Alright. Section 48. GST practitioners. You should be Indian, sound mind, solvent. You should have qualifications or sales tax practitioner or commercial tax officer. Do you need a separate ID? Do you need to enroll? Will you be approved? All of that is yes, guys. All of that is yes. And guys, will you be responsible? No. Who will be responsible? Client will be responsible. And you need to pass some exams which are under NACIN. And guys, QRMP scheme. Quarterly return, monthly payment. Generally, guys, how many GSTR 1s? 12 and GSTR 3Bs? Is that a big burden? So can you file quarterly returns? Only for people whose turnover is up to? Do we have to opt in? Can I opt in entity wise? What is the period of opting? 1 to L1. That means last quarter, first day of the second month till this quarter, last day of the first month. First date, then month. Next, guys, how many GSTR 1s will I file? 4. But for the first and second month of the quarter, can I file IFF? For which supplies, guys? B2B. Maximum up to how much, guys? 50 lakh each. And guys, for this, we'll have to file by the 13th of the next month and pay by when, guys? 24th of the next, 25th of the next month. For the first 2 months, IFF. Is it compulsory or optional? Only if you have B2B. And last month, what will I file? GSTR 1, which will include B2C, and that month's B2B. Alright. And guys, is there any payment? How will I get out of the scheme? If I cross the turnover of, if quarterly GSTR 1, that also I don't file on time, then I'm out of the scheme. And if 86B I don't follow, then I'm out of this. And guys, what are the payment mechanisms here? Guys, is there a fixed sum method? Yes. Or is there a self-assessment method? Fixed sum means if the last month's return is monthly, 100% of the cash you paid, same in the first, second month. And what if the last month's return is quarterly? 35%. Guys, but is there any shortfall if you will pay interest? No. But self-assessment, guys, who's taking the responsibility? You. So if there is any shortfall, who will pay the interest, guys? You. And with that, guys, we come to an end of this. We'll just recap the names of the exemptions, not the details, and then we'll end. So this is the 10th chapter. Section was what for returns, guys? 37, 38, 39, then 40. This and these are the main ones. Then straight 44, 45. This was for, this is for 46 and 47 is what, guys? Late fees. 46 is notice and 48 is what? GSTP, and there is quarterly return, monthly payment scheme. Yes. Alright, just here only guys, I'm summarizing the exemptions. Just the name of the exemptions, whatever you recollect guys. Just 1 second. Slightly beyond schedule, but yeah, I know articleship students guys, you'll have to leave, but just 5 minutes or 3 minutes and we'll leave. Guys, this is the 11th one. What is the chapter's name guys? Whenever you quote exemption, which notification will you quote guys? Notification 12 of 2017. Government has the power to issue notification for goods not covered, services covered. From the start guys, what is the first? Healthcare services. 1 second. Health care services. Next guys, passenger transport services. Next, goods transport services. Also legal services. Next, education services, performance of an artist, entry into events. Goods transport I've already written. Next, religious and charitable trust. Next, banking and financial services plus insurance, life insurance plus general insurance. Then miscellaneous guys, where did we go? Nepal, Bhutan, under 17. Next, agriculture services. Next, which one? Postal, yes, postal. Unregistered association like your resident welfare associations. Construction services. Government, so government when they are providing services, also when they are receiving services. Leasing services and specified bodies. Sponsorship services, of course. Alright. Guys, these are the exemptions. As you see, the list is too long, but we can't revise it now. But guys, one by one you can revise. If you have not written the notes, or if anyone wants the notes, I have one person's note already xeroxed with complete notes of GST. In case anyone wants, reach out. Guys, now just 2 minutes I will take before I end this session. Yes. So this is a sheet that will be circulated in your Telegram group. I will also circulate my QuickBook and a Drive link. That Drive link has everything. If you ever think, oh, let me ask sir about this document, go to the Drive link, it will always be there. And the QuickBook will be updated. So after October guys, whatever changes happen, it will be updated automatically. So you don't have to ask me, sir, updated QuickBook, same link. As long as the May 23, anything that is need to be shared, etc. will be on that same one link. Alright, are we good guys? Yes, fabulous session on GST. I hope you understood well. This is the revision. You can always go back to it. I don't know how much time. I think about 1 hour, 1.5 hour. No, I think we started at 8:16 or 8:15. So about 1 hour and 1.5 hour. We've done the entire revision along with sections. Yes, kudos to you. Thank you so much guys. I'll see you all next for the next leg. DT in half an hour. Yes, thank you.